He is with NuNet. You guys might have heard of Kabir before. So let's give a warm welcome to Kabir Veitas.
So my name is Kabir Veitas. I represent NuNet, which is building a global economy of decentralized computing. And I am the lead architect, co-founder, and CEO. So actually, today I wanted to step few steps back or up, depending how we would think about it, and not to talk about all the amazing technologies that we are building, but to conceptualize the importance of open source development and decentralization, and to argue that this is a way forward for not only for the Web3 industry or for us, but also for basically the whole digital technology sector. So maybe it seems that I don't need to advocate for open source or decentralization in this audience, but it seems that we need to advocate and stand up for these concepts or things that are behind these concepts, well, in a broader space of technology, of digital technology industry and sector. So we know that technological development is, first of all, we are in this supposed era of accelerating development of technology, which is basically was always there, we are just observing it now. And the technological development is both a catalyst and a product of this accelerating change of society. So, and we observe, well, basically that was from the beginning of time, well, from civilization, the technology is changing human society. And now we see how disruptively it may change human society. So our ability to harness this change is basically determining our fate as society and civilization, not in the sense that, well, if we do not harness it correctly, then we are doomed, but more in the sense that if we do it wisely, we are way better off as a society and as a civilization. So the question, how can we harness the accelerating exponential change for the benefit of the whole humanity in a sustainable way? And my answer, yeah, of course we can. The other thing is, how can we do that? And the answer that I would like to argue about, at least in the context of the digital technology sector, is via open source and decentralization. So there is a notion of knowledge cycle, which connects to some extent to what Janet was speaking before. And this cycle has three aspects. One is knowledge creation, which means how much knowledge we create and how much knowledge we basically hold as a society. And knowledge diffusion, meaning how do we make this knowledge available for others to use. And knowledge utilization is how well we use this prior knowledge for creating either new knowledge or technologies. Now, knowledge here means basically all the knowledge of human civilization, including written knowledge, spoken, artifacts, technology, so basically culture. And that results in this sort of accelerating development, let's say, formula, which means that knowledge available for the next period that we can use is proportional to the knowledge in the period before, and the utilization rate of that knowledge. And this sort of simple formula, let's say, basically, it's a basis for the Gordon-Moore's law of the accelerating computer technology, of Kurzweil's law of accelerating returns, and Korzybski's law of time, as you call it, time-binding law, which together somehow define this, or basically is a background behind the notion of technological singularity. And the most interesting, probably, part of this equation is utilization rate, meaning how well we can utilize this knowledge that we're building over generations, and how fast we can build upon the knowledge that we built in previous cycles. So utilization rate itself is a combination of application of knowledge to build practical stuff that we use, applying knowledge to create new knowledge, which we then use to build practical stuff. Sometimes we forget certain knowledge and we create it or recreate it anew. And last but surely not least, is applying different perspectives to the knowledge in order to diverge the knowledge creation process into different aspects, which is related to decentralization. So from the historical global perspective, this combination basically can be described as sharing of knowledge and resources. This is what we do. And in terms of different perspective of usage, it is described by decentralization, which means access and usage of knowledge by many and different eyeballs. And why it's eyeballs, I will come in a moment. So basically, the important sharing of knowledge is very important in actually utilization of knowledge. And science basically showed us how powerful it is, because science is very much based on sharing the results of previous scientific research via publications, via peer review, and most importantly, making it free for everybody to access and to build upon to do new research. So we know that that's successful. This is basis of our basically technological revolution. Access to technology in a digital technology industry, we all usually call it open source. It can be open source software, it can be open source software hardware. And basically, the only way to build better technology is to learn from prior implementations and to build upon them. Access to capital and finance, which is given or basically promised for us by market economy, centralized finance, decentralized finance. And interestingly, access to options and decision-making opportunities, which is what was being already mentioned, decentralized governance, which is ability to choose basically your own path. Everybody has an ability to choose how to use this knowledge. So in this sense, the way I think about decentralized governance is not exactly coming to a certain consensus together, how do we move? However, decentralized governance gives an ability to choose different paths of development and to go along them. Let's say we see this with different technologies without compromising all the other paths. So we don't always need to choose one path of development unless we choose to. So in terms of where open source sharing and decentralization comes together in open source, so there is a law called Linus law, which is in generalized sense, it says that given enough perspectives, all problems are easy, which means decentralization basically leads to better products and better outcomes as a principle. Original Linus law is applied to open source software development. And it sounds, given enough eyeballs, all bugs are shallow. So that was about open source development. And from there, we have open source software, which is based on the principle that the results of prior implementations and work in progress are available for the community of developers and users based on very well-defined rules of usage. And then open source development is the process by which we are building this knowledge, and the principles of open source development, which is not less important than the knowledge itself created by this process, is that open process of software development, easy change, seamless collaboration without explicit consensus or team organization, clear documentation. So very often when we mention, or I mention open source in different, let's say, a little bit more different venues than this one, maybe related to more traditional, let's say, technology development approaches. Well, I get a question, so, okay, what is business in that? Okay, that's free stuff. So the way I would say that business, there are basically two general business philosophies. One of them is win-lose, which means kind of somewhat classical business philosophy, which basically assumes that there is a fixed pie that has to be divided, and whoever takes the bigger cut takes this from others. So whoever wins this, let's say, jackpot, most of others lose. So that's win-lose philosophy, which seems to be very, well, basis for, let's call it, traditional businesses. And another one is win-win philosophy, which takes into account all the knowledge cycle that was being talked about. Sharing and decentralization, that the principle is that it positively reinforces the jackpot itself and basically makes us all able to win, basically to have a bigger piece of pie. And the success of open source movement basically demonstrates this power of the win-win philosophy, which is pretty much ingrained into the philosophy of open source development and open source movement. And still, open source, we observe, is often considered, as I said, free lunch and used sometimes for marketing only, which gives rise to open washing phenomena, meaning that we say that we open source, but we actually not open source. And the importance here is not just having open sourced our, let's say, results of what we work, but also open source the process of development. So I believe that open source and decentralization are the biggest missed opportunities for the whole digital technology industry. And once again, missed doesn't mean that we kind of missed and something is irrevocably, missed. However, it missed in the sense that we have to take them. We have to take this opportunity for directing all this accelerating exponential change of technology towards benefiting global society in a sustainable way, and decentralized governance is very much part of that. So the way to do it, the way we try to do it at NuNet, is by focusing on win-win philosophy and combining it properly with these classical business models. So this is what we call commercial open source models. What is important is that I believe that not only win-win and win-lose philosophies can sort of be, you cannot employ only one. They have to be combined in order to build sustainable business models and sustainable development. So at NuNet, we are building decentralized computing economy. And decentralized computing could be understood as a new era of this sharing and collaboration, where we are sharing and collaborate not only on static knowledge or static artifacts, but we are kind of sharing the brain power, which employs this knowledge in order to build new knowledge. Decentralized computing is a design approach where no single authority controls the data or logic of a network. It is decentralized in terms when it decides what to do. Instead, all computers, in terms of nodes, usually nodes within the system, use shared algorithms to determine authority and the path to follow. So the technology or this field of decentralized computing, it's made possible by the body of knowledge from pretty much half-century long computer science research and the development in technology and experimentation. And now the cherry on the top is Web3 technologies, which we understand as Web3 space, which basically, from my point, they made available all this 50 years of research to be implemented and to be scaled in the basically on industry scale. So we are standing on the shoulders of giants, and just to show a little timeline, basically in 1970s there were beginnings of peer-to-peer networks, which we are all using in all our technologies, and we kind of take it for almost for granted. In somewhere end of 1980s, we had conceptual foundations of the computational markets and computational ecologies, where different computation machines and the algorithms interact together in the basically economy. This is something that also NuNet is building upon philosophically and conceptually by building technologies. In 1990s, we had, as we all know, rise of peer-to-peer file sharing protocols, which kind of caused the traditional industry kind of backlash. And now all these technologies are basically taken over and are used. In 2000s, we have emergence of grid computing, which is also part of what we are building in the decentralized computing ecology. In 2010, now is the advent of blockchain and cryptocurrencies technologies, and Web3 and beyond in 2020, where we are now. Basically, cherry top, which in my view enables all those technologies to be fruitfully, basically come to fruition in order to build and to scale up technology actually usable on large scale. So at NuNet, we are building a global economy of decentralized computing, where anyone can share and monetize the computing resources at scale based on all those technologies and all those principles that I introduced or described. and provides globally distributed and optimized computing power for decentralized networks. And by the virtue of being decentralized and the kind of concept how we build this technology, we provide enhanced security and privacy in this platform or network, scalability and efficiency, inclusivity and collaboration of all the, whether it's developers or nodes which are participating in the network, and monetization mechanisms. And the way we build our business model around it is commercial open source, where the basic open source platform is free to use and adapt by everybody. However, there is an ability inbuilt in the platform to build and license business applications. So where we, as I said, we believe that combining the win-lose, let's say, philosophy, or maybe more traditional business philosophy, and the win-win philosophy which comes with open source, that is the key of developing those technologies and moving forward on a societal scale. So money is important. Money is an oil for us to build stuff. However, money is at least, let's say, collaboration and decentralization and sharing of knowledge is at least not less important than money. And it's amazing to see basically to be a part of this community. Cardano and namely, first of all, Web3, then Cardano, then Catalyst, which pretty much makes it possible to collaborate and to kind of connect those two things in a decentralized governance sense. So NuNet is participating in the project Catalyst with basically 7 proposals, most with free partners, and we also kind of divide those proposals to which ones we are using for building, or which proposals are for building the platform and making open source, which proposals are building abilities for people to build applications on top of platforms. What is amazing with the Catalyst program is that it allows the collaboration, sharing of knowledge, and the sharing of the development process itself. So as I said, this is at least not less important than the grants which are granted through the program. And we would really like to, another thing, we can hear what is needed from the community in terms of what do we need to build. So we're moving forward. We would like everybody to basically encompass this open source and decentralization philosophy and concretely feedback and come to talk to us and to basically give us more knowledge how to build and participate, and also participate in this projects. So we are 30 minds strong right now, and we're expanding. Our NuNet was founded by Kabir Veitas, who is AI researcher and as an AI and computer science researcher and the CEO. Ben Gotzel, who is, as we know, AGI researcher and CEO of SingularityNet. And we were Weinbaum, who is philosopher and engineer of mind and artificial intelligence. So thanks for your time and attention, and please check us out on these links and in our booth. Thank you.
Claim your official proof of participation in Rare Evo 2023. Whether you attend physically or tune in on the live stream, you get a free NFT painted by Brendan O'Connell live from our Expo Hall floor, and you get whitelisted for the Rare Perks NFT presale. By claiming, you will be entered into a giveaway of multiple rewards, including the original one-of-one physical painting by Brendan, along with exclusive access and opportunities for Rare Evo 2024, including, but not limited to, free general admission and VIP passes, a 10x10 booth, workshop space, and more.